Hello, I'm John Amodio. I'm chairman of SCORE Staten Island. On behalf of Richmond County Savings Bank and SCORE, I want to welcome you to today's webinar on virtually organizing your database. We at SCORE are mentors to small businesses. At present, because of the COVID pandemic, are doing our mentoring and education through phone, through emails, and through Zoom presentations such as this. Today, our webinar is being presented by Charles D. Bartolo, president of BetterBizWorks. He's an expert in web design and marketing. He's been a pleasure for us to work with at SCORE and has been very helpful to us in counseling some of our clients. He will discuss and demonstrate a product for all businesses, existing startups and not-for-profit, that will enable you to organize visually and work together with your team. I'm pleased to present Charles D. Bartolo. But before I do, I just want to make you aware that your speakers are muted. Please, if you have any questions, use the Q&A versus chat. Copies of any slides will be presented to all the attendees after the presentation. And please, if you would, complete a brief survey that will be sent to you at the end of the webinar and send it back to us. Again, thank you for attending today, and I will turn over the screen to Charles D. Bartolo. Charles, thank you so much for being with us and taking the time to do this.
Thank you. My pleasure. Okay, so I wanted to just say databases are not my specialty, but I did come across this database in my research for finding digital tools for businesses. And while there are many tools out there, I found this one to be very cost effective and useful. And there are many others that you can try, but we'll go through this one. It's a visual database, and I'm just going to share my screen now, and we'll put a couple of things together here. Okay, can you see that screen, John?
Yes.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure. All right. So this is Milanote. It's MILANOTE.com. And it's a great way to organize your ideas and projects on basically a visual board. You can add text of any type, links, pictures, PDFs, documents of all types, and keep them all in one place. You can share them with your employees, friends, clients, and so forth, and know that it's secure and all in one space. So there is, and I'm just going to look up for you what the cost is on this. I believe it's free for up to 100 boards. And if you want more than that and you want to share with more than like 2 or 3 people, it is $9.99 a month, billed annually. So we will start with the basics. I'll show you what I use my Millernote for, and then we can go from there. So this is a Millernote screen, and what I've done here is just kind of made a summary page for my business. I'm in the web design and marketing business, and so as you can see here, I keep what's important to me. My web design pipeline is right here in the upper left-hand column. I have a marketing pipeline right next to it. Next to that, I have customer requests for service and issues. And then, of course, I keep my receivables handy for billing issues. And that's all right on the top where I can just click on one of these and fix things. I'll show you some of the detailed items on a page that's not real. I don't want names and numbers to be shown. But under here, I have websites in development. These are the websites that we're working on currently. Here I have what we're actively marketing for this month. Next to it is a pipeline. And then Over here is just other interests and projects that I may have. And then I have personal things over to the left. These boards go down and to the right as far as you'd like them to go. So you can have everything on one screen if you want and just move to the left or down and see everything, or you can make sub-pages. For now, what I did was I created two generic companies right here, CDB Consulting Company right here and Joe's Restaurant, to show you what you can do with the business. So for now, I'm going to start with you know what, I'm going to show you how this works first. To the left, we have notes, links, to-dos. You can draw lines on the screen. You can add a board, which is one of these little icons, and we're going to do that first. You can create a column. These are columns: websites in development, actively marketing, and so forth. You can also add comments. You can add images, and you can upload files, and that's all on the margin here to the left. All you have to do to create something is grab it and drag it onto the board. So let's say I wanted to add a new website that we're creating. I could grab this board here, move it here, add it to the column. I would give a name to the board. So let's say it's a grocery store, or so I'd say Mike's Grocery. Hit enter. It'll create an icon. You can change the color in the icon if you want. And then you click on that, and it creates a visual board. In here, we can put whatever we like, but we're going to start with a template. So to the right, you can see you can add all different types of templates. And so you have an empty board, which is what we're looking at. You can use a project plan, which is the top pick, a mood board, an agency hub. A lot of this is for marketing and creative. A brainstorming, a team planner. If I click on more templates, they have 6 different templates for agencies, 5 more for creative direction, some for film and TV, some for game design, more for graphics design, illustration, interior design, management and strategy, which works well for any business, marketing for your marketing plans, mood boarding, motion design, photography, product management, productivity, software development, startups, students. They have product design, and writing. You can utilize any of these for anything that you want, but they've been created for the creative field. That doesn't mean you have to be in a creative field to create your own thing. So for now, you know, for Mike's Grocery, let's just start with a simple product plan. I'm going to get it. Let's see. Well, let's go to management and strategy, and we can create, let's say we want to hire people for our grocery store. So it shows you a template. And in this template, I'm just going to leave it with these items in it so you can see how it works instead of creating everything, which I just click on this that says keep example content and use this template. And now we have basically a structure for hiring employees. So you have an applicant shortlist where you can put the people's information, their website, their email, and a link to their information, whether that's their LinkedIn account or so forth. You can put in a screening interview, a skills evaluation, background and reference check, and then what job offers were sent once you've decided what you want. And in here, you can create anything you like. So if I wanted to add a link to Salvatore Bonici, I would just come over here to links. I'd pop in a link, and let's say I put in LinkedIn. And we would, let's say we would put his link there, and then you would have it. If I wanted to put notes on the meeting, I could just grab a note. I can add it, and I could start typing. Sal had a good interview, and then go from there and put in what happened during the interview, what I liked, what I didn't like, and so forth. So there's all different types of things you can do. This is just to show you what can be done. I wanted to show you how a template is created, and now we'll go into some example websites. So to get back, instead of being in Mike's Grocery, I just click in the upper left-hand corner to home. It takes me back to my home screen. And now I'm going to go into, let's say, CDB Consulting. And what I've done here is I created a couple of things that a consulting company might need. So one, if a consulting company has a project, they can grab one of these templates. And the first template I picked was a project template. And that created these 3 columns: about the project, a creative brief, tasks that need to be done, a place to put documents for your client, a mood board, which is like a brain map that you can put in, and then some design ideas. To the right, I put things that are more analytical. So I created boards by grabbing a board and bringing it over like this, okay? And I created a hiring plan, a project plan, a matrix for figuring out priorities on what's important, a new product launch, a weekly plan, a story outline, a sales pipeline, and a team planner. And these are things that every business could probably use to help organize things. The nice part about this is it's more visual. So if you're a visual person, this will really work well for you. So for now, we'll click on hiring plan. And in here, you can see it's kind of got the same thing that we created in the grocery store. And that would be your hiring plan. We come back, a sample project plan would be this. I left the content, the sample content, and you would put what your project is about. You can create just by grabbing a to-do list like this. You can put your own list in, and then you start to type in your task list. And as these things are done, you can click them to tell you that they're done. So you have kickoff meeting with the client, remaining brand documents, start exploring design directions, organize a time to review mood boards. You can add a separate task. You might say, call manager and so forth, and put his number in there and go from there. In here for inspiration, you might put ideas. In the mood board, that's more of like a mind map. You can take graphics that you're going to use and put them in here. But I want to talk about one of the things, and I want to go through what we promised in the webinar, things like sharing and editing with your team. So if I'm creating a project plan and I wanted to add a member of my team, I could hit on the right-hand corner here, add editor, and then I could just type in an email address and send them this file. They would have access to just the project plan and not all the other items that I'm creating for the business. Now I can share the whole database, or I could just share a section of it. Now I can do that for my employees, but I could also do it for the client. So we can make them an editor and they can actually put in their own ideas. And we have one board where everyone can collaborate and bring information back and forth. So I might create a to-do list for the business owner. So I'll show you how I would do that. I would, in order to make this visually pleasing, I would add a column here. Okay. And then I would add notes. And if I'm talking to John, the owner, I could put in notes, please add advertising files or whatever it is that they would owe me. And Millernote will give them a notification once they've signed on for this that would allow them then to add files and items to this board. And in order to add an item, let's say I wanted to add a document, I could literally just go here, hit upload file or image. It goes right into my my website, my computer, and then I can add documents. So let's just see. So in real estate, I have a few documents. No, I don't. But I'll grab one, let's say from the desktop. And let's say I wanted to add PDF. See if there's a PDF in here. For now, I'll just add the spreadsheet. And then you can see that over on the right here, it adds an Excel spreadsheet right to the folder. I can drag this onto the board, or I can leave it over to the left, and that allows me to add any types of files I like. If I wanted to add an image, I could click on images. I could use one of the images from Millernote, or I can upload my own. And if I had pictures, let's say I have a picture and I wanted to add a photo, I could just drag it right onto the board and it would add that picture to the board. And it's really that simple on adding items, and your customers can do the same, or your employees, and now you have a shared board to manage a project. Okay, I'm going to go back. This is an Eisenhower matrix, and it's been called other things. I think Franklin Covey borrowed from this and used something from here, but basically it allows you to break down what's urgent and important, what's important and not urgent, what's not important and not urgent, and what is urgent and not important. And then you can take this information and sort data according to priority. So it's an interesting way to sort things. Works out very well. There's a lot of different methodology on this, but you can also create your own ways to sort priorities. If your business wanted to launch a new product, there's a template for that. And this would allow you to basically put together, launching a video, creating a story, brand assets, contact press and influencers, how you expect to put things out there, an announcement to users, what you expect to post on social media. And this allows you a visual way to plan what you're going to do on a new product. There's also a weekly plan, so you can create a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday setup, and you can share this with your employees. You can also add people's names to each project and work with it from there. So again, a nice little weekly plan. If you're a writer and you wanted to create a story outline, or you wanted to write an article for your blog or for your social media, you can open up a story outline, and this will give you a guide on how to open, what your rising action, climax, and resolution is on the story. You can add pictures and so forth, and have one place to collect all of your writing ideas. This is a sales pipeline. Everybody has one of those, hopefully. And here you can put in your prospects, your leads, who you presented proposals to and what they were about. You can add a link to that proposal or a document and just add it right to the page, what you're negotiating on, and what prospects you won over to open a new account. And keep all of that on one pipeline. And it's a nice organized way to work on your pipelines or collections or anything like that. A team planner is also a great thing. So you can put in what your goals are for the week, the month, the year, and then create a column for each employee and what their to-dos are. And then you can share this file with each employee. And I think that that's a great way to keep everybody on task, and they can also check off what they've accomplished, and you have a nice picture of what's going on. All right, so that is the consulting company. Now, I've been through a lot, and before I start with another one, maybe we should open this up to questions and see if I could answer anything on these databases that we've just created. Let's see if I can find the chat here. So Q&A, What is the Eisenhower matrix? So basically, that matrix is, and I'll show that to you again. Hold on. It is just a way to organize your thoughts and your tasks and decide what's most important to you. Obviously, urgent and important is number one. Important and not urgent, maybe number two. Or urgent and not important, number three. And not important and not urgent, you should probably throw away. But maybe it's something that you need to do later on. Okay. Any other questions on these items?
No, Charlie, I don't see any other questions at the
Okay.
moment.
Great. So we're going to move on. And I know that with COVID, a lot of people are having reopening issues. And this is a great way to organize what you need to do, whether it's safety issues and so forth. Now, I don't have all of these written out, but I figured a restaurant would be a good example for this. So I created a page for a restaurant. And so this is a restaurant page. And I put in next steps for opening, let's say, with COVID and what you may want to do. So let's say we have hire employees, create a menu, your advertising and marketing plan, creating a vendor list, create online ordering, create plans for curbside pickup, add merchant services, might be a few things that you want to do. One of the things I did was I just took a link to the online ordering, let's say for one of our restaurants, and I put that right here. So this shows you if I entered the URL, like I just dragged over the link and I entered the link, you could go right to the website from the link and go to your online ordering as a restaurant. It's a nice way to keep things organized and just have references to whatever websites that you want. In this case, it would be your online ordering. I created some boards. Here's one for tasks, and you could create what you need to do, and then you can move it over to what you are doing currently, and then, of course, what you have completed. And this is a nice little task board, and that comes as a template. Here's a place to keep documents from your customers or from your vendors. And for a restaurant, for instance, what you might want to do is create a menu. So I would create a board for creating the menu. I'd bring it over. I'd put it into a column. New menu items. And then it give you an idea. That's how you would create it. I put some items in over here under specials, I believe. Let's take a look. And in here, what you can do is create, let's say, your specials for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the whole rest of the week. You can add pictures like I did here, and it's as simple as adding an image, uploading the image. Let's say I would go into my photography folder on my desktop. Let's see, go into, here's a restaurant, here's some photos. If I wanted to drag this photo on for Thursdays, I could just take it, put it right into Thursday. I could slide over there and create a pizza. If I wanted to add notes on what it is, I could just call this homemade pizza. And then put my recipe underneath here. Go from there. So it's easy enough to do. If I wanted to add the chef, I would just hit add editor. I'd put the chef in there and say, hey, these are our new specials. Check it out, add what you like. Let's figure out a price, cost, and so forth, and then go from there. Great way to make your specials, and you can kind of do the same thing for a whole menu. You can create appetizers, just drag over a notepad and just do appetizer ideas, and then you can create a list. You can then bring in pictures and descriptions and recipes and so forth. Keep it all on one board, and then share that with your staff. When this becomes ready to make a sample of specials and menus, you can also share that with your waiters and waitresses. Go from there. Let's go back to the restaurant page. This is COVID reopening. So in here, you might have wanted to create what your next steps are. You might want to get COVID documents from the New York City site. In this case, what I did was I just dragged the link over. I grabbed the link from my browser, and then I added the New York City reopening guide. And so when you click on that, it takes you to the guide for New York City business. And you could go through a checklist on exactly how to reopen your restaurant safely and smartly. It asks you a series of about 30 questions, and then it gives you a step-by-step guide to create reopening your restaurant. Okay. Now in here, you may want to create flyers and then share that with your printer. You might put some ideas. You might grab pictures of some of your specials or some of your items, jot down a few of your ideas of what you want, and then share it with your printer. You might also want to share it with your social marketing companies that you work with, and go from there. It's a great way to put everything together. And this shows you the document itself. I created a PDF out of the actual link for New York City restaurant opening. And then you can open the PDF right here, open it in your browser and utilize it. And that's a great way to keep all of the rules in one place and share it with your employees so that they can't say they weren't told how to handle things properly, right? Okay, now I figure that most restaurants need to streamline their ordering process. So I created a restaurant supply ordering page. And in here, you could put in a calendar of events of what you're doing, time card information. But I think a more important thing would be to take a list. And what I did was I created a PDF. You could use a spreadsheet and so forth, and literally just open up a file. So for instance, in this case, we have like a grocery list. You can check off the items that you need and then share this with your restaurant supply vendor and invite them by adding an editor to this page. And every day your orders can be in one place, and any responses could be right here, and you never really even have to call or email your vendor. Everything could be right here in live mode. You can know when there's an issue with anything, and all you have to do is share it with each, create a restaurant ordering page for each vendor, and then share it. And then in here, this is what Millernote does best, advertising and marketing. And if you wanted to create a brainstorming page, you would just click on brainstorming template. You can choose any of these and literally just put together a mind map of what you want to advertise. If it was a car, you would just put in all the information, taglines, advertising ideas, pictures, photos, videos. Everything could be added right to here. On the $9.99 a month, it's unlimited how much you can add to this, which is an amazing thing. And it could be a great way to handle storing all of your files for advertising, because they do take up a lot of space.
Charlie,
Yep.
you mentioned sharing. How do you go about sharing this with someone?
Okay,
And are they, if they do share, I mean, are they sharing everything in your file, or is it just something that they could, you could be, pinpointed?
you could create one page and just share that page. So let's say this page, or we go out onto Joe's restaurant, this is the main page. We bring a board in, and let's say we want to share this with Michael, our employee, right? So I could create one that's Michael waitstaff. Put that in this column, and then I'll click on it. And now I can create a team planner for Michael, and then maybe delete all these others and just leave one with his goals for that week. And then I would hit add editor, and I would just enter his email address, and this would request that he join me on Millernote. And once he says yes, he's sharing this page. Every time he edits something on here, I get a notification. And whenever I add something to this, he gets a notification by email. So he knows that he's been requested to do something. And then when he completes the task, I will get a notification that something is changed on his board and that I should take a look at it. So it's a great way to share things. You can also publish these items, although I've never really used this. And you can publish and share items on a HTML, create welcome messages, allow comments and reactions like a chat. But for me, what I've mainly done is just use the add editor feature and share a board with someone. I share with my employees. They all have their own projects on here. And I also share with clients when we're doing a website, and they can see, I'll add the link to the website and then put all the items that we've done. Also, I can put what I require from them. So if they need to send me a product list or something, they can all add it to this file, and we all have everything in one place, and there's no misplacing of everything. So for their project, everything is in one place. Hopefully I explained that. Anything that I didn't explain there, John, that you'd like to know?
Yes, Charlie. The thing is that, can you have more than one person sharing?
Yes, you can have as many people as you like sharing a board, or just one, and you can have them. You can share the whole database or just one page of the database. So you have full control over that. And then adding anything to, let's say this is Mark, and I wanted to add something to it, I would just kind of go over here and drag a note right now. Let's see, I'm going to choose this template. And then I would just drag a note over to Mark and then add his information. Please, workstations. And then when I share it, he'll get that notice.
Okay. Charlie, where is all this being stored?
It's all stored on the cloud at Milanote. There is no way to back it up, so you're completely dependent on them. But I'm sure they have a backup system in place. I've never had a problem. I've had this for over a year, and there's really never been any issues. Any questions on any of this so far? Let's see, we have 2 in the Q&A here. Okay, does Milanote.com track project time goals and deadlines? It does if you add time and deadlines. So it will not tell you when something's due. It doesn't have a built-in clock, but you can share dates and times and then check in on them. There's no, okay. What's the difference between the free and paid versions? And the difference is just size. You get a certain amount of size and 100 cards that you can create for free. I found, and I think it allowed me to share 3 or 5 people at a time. Once you get over that, then you need to spend the $10 a month to make it unlimited. So it's a good way to test it out and see if you like it. It's good for small businesses that are working with a couple of clients at a time, and maybe the most important ones you share this information with. And then if it's worth it, what's not worth $10 a month if it keeps your client working with you and satisfied, you know? So I think it's a great thing for the money. I haven't found anything better for this price. But I think this is all well and good. Right now, prices of all kinds of databases are getting less expensive, not more expensive, which amazes me. And there are other databases that handle time and dollar amounts and math better. This is more of a visual database. But if you're a visual person and you just need something to organize thoughts and marketing and plans and tasks, this is a fantastic database for it.
Charlie, there's a question here that if I share, is there an additional user license charge?
There isn't for like up to, I believe, 5 users. And then after that, they ask you to take on the plan. They get up to 100 cards. So really for any normal project, it will be free. If you're going to work on this for years and years, you know, it could wind up costing them $10 a month to set up. But I've never actually had that issue. I just set up one project for each customer, and it works pretty well without, it's never asked anyone to sign up for money.
Thanks, Charlie.
Thank you. And I'll just go back to the home page to kind of show you what a finished product looks like. I could show you just a couple of samples, like, yeah, for instance, I do a little bit of real estate, and I've dragged in URLs from Cyborg of the homes and properties that I have for sale. And then I've left this blank so that we don't have, but I keep all my notes on every contact that's been interested in any property right here, along with their phone numbers and contact information. And this is a great way to organize your sales, and it can be done just about for any industry. Again, I find a lot of things useful. I like to keep a pipeline on my customers. I like to keep an accounts receivable, and this is a great way to do it. Just putting it in here. I can't open the accounts receivable because you should know who owes me money. But all of this is in here. You can keep a file on each client and put all the information that's relevant for every client that you have. And you can also keep your interests all in one place. Like for instance, I do photography as a hobby. If I clicked on this, every document I have on photography is in there, along with pictures, contacts. Everybody that I work with in the field are all in that file folder. And it allows me to contact them and share with them on my next photography project or videography project. And it's a great way to collect information and share it with the people that need to be involved. That's really the whole thing. I know we're a little early. It's only 40 minutes. I'll open this up to questions. I'm going to give you some of my information in case you have anything that you may need. Let's just see. Where would that be? Here we go. So my name again is Charles D. Bartolo from BetterBizWorks, Web Design and Internet Marketing. My number and email is here, and the website link if you need to go there. I'll open it up for any other questions, and that's basically it. Now, you know, I was telling John, I believe that this product would even be great for you guys to share projects with SCORE, with your SCORE clientele, because you can put a set of to-dos together and see what they've worked on, and then follow up and literally do everything right over the phone and online. Oops.
Charlie, there is a question that just came up after you posted this. Is there ongoing instruction, or would we contact you?
There is live chat with Millernote, and they also have a little tutorial when you get started. I haven't seen that in over a year, but it was very easy to use. When you set this up, literally you're just dragging things from this. You have like 9 options here, and you drag them onto the board, and then there's literally notes to tell you what to do on each item. So, and then there's also live chat. So if I went into a question here, I could literally search or chat with a real person. I could just click on this and a chat thing will pop up and I could ask a question. they're a little slow on the answers. They may answer you in a day because they're in Australia, but you can either look at the forums and there's full documentation, or if you have a really specific question, you can ask and they'll get back to you within maybe 6 hours to overnight.
Is this, Charlie, is this similar to OneNote?
It is similar to OneNote. OneNote is much simpler. There are quite a few like bulletin board and card databases out there, and I've used many of them. I looked at this one maybe 2 years ago for digital marketing, for digital tools, and it was excellent, but they've improved it so much that I've really only used this. And there are a lot of them out there that are simple. There's a lot of free. I think one of them is Trello, Trello, and that has a really nice free setup. Not as extensive as this, not as visual as this, and you can't really drag. I don't think, at least last time I used it, you couldn't drag documents and pictures into it. It was just a place to leave tasks and notes. But that's another free database that you could take a look at.
I think I know the answer to this, Charlie, but I'm going to, the question that came up is, would this work for a small business such as a hair salon? If
Absolutely.
so, how many clients could I add onto the board? And mainly using this for color notes.
Right. Well, I think it would be great for color notes. My wife had a hair salon. Matter of fact, we just left the business because of COVID. But you could definitely add a client for each. Of course, after you got to 100 note boards, you would have to pay. But once you create it, and I could probably just create like, well, what I would do is I would create a board for each client, and then I would put the recipes for the mixes, the color mixes, and then what I would probably do is even take a picture of the hair after you've done it and keep it in the file. And that would be a great way when people change colors to see the differences, what the mixture that you used was, and then what the notes were, whether the client was happy and so forth, what you charged. Everything else could be in one place.
Okay. Any more questions? Well, SCORE thanks you. I thank you. How did that all go with the, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you, everybody down the line?
Yeah, I thank you too.
I hope you found this informative. It's a little different than the webinars that you put on where it's strictly lecturing. It is basically trying to demonstrate a particular product to give you ideas as to how you may be able to use some of these products, get them to function through the cloud so that you could share it with your clients or with your employees. So thank you, Charles, for helping us with this today. I look forward to doing more with you.
You're welcome, and we will create a video of this. While there's not a slide presentation, there will be a video on what we've done so that you can reference it if you need to.
Well, that would be great. Okay. Well, with that said, hold on a second. I think some more questions popped up here before we run off here.
Yep.
I don't want anybody annoyed that they didn't have a chance to talk about their questions. Okay. Actually, they're compliments here. One is thanks and they're happy. And the second one is just a comment. Thank you. I love it. I think it will make a big difference in my business.
Good to hear.
So,
I think it will too. I think just about any business could utilize this to some extent. And I hope it works for you. We need all the help we can get out there in this new environment. And I wish you all good luck and create some good organization through this. I think it'll help.